What brings you here? Another celestial conspiracy, perhaps? Amusing as that would be, I'm really not interested. It would upset Fluttershy, and I will not allow that.
You are half right, Discord. My sister is up to her old tricks again. But she is not trying to enlist you. I am.
Oh, well, that is new. A little trouble at home?
Like you would care, Discord. You are only concerned about yourself.
Well, if I'm not for me, then who will be? What do you want, Luna? Your presence is becoming bothersome.
Is that so? Then perhaps this is a mistake. But when you wake up one morning and find that Fluttershy is no longer yours, do remember this conversation you couldn't be bothered with.
Wait, I do apologize. I was being thoughtless just now, wasn't I? But that's just what I am like, so there really is no point in being offended by it, is there? So you might as well tell me what you came here for.
Very well, Discord, but I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for Twilight. She does not deserve any of the horrors which have befallen her, and I can no longer stomach my sister using her as a cat's paw.
I thought this had something to do with Fluttershy. I owe Twilight no favors.
Are you familiar with the book Abyssus wrote about marriage?
Of course. I was forced to learn that, along with everything else Ghidra's tedious father wrote when I was in school. What does this have to do with... Wait, your sister found a copy of that book, didn't she?
She did.
And gave it to Twilight?
And here my sister always thought you were a mindless fop.
Please, Luna, no one plays the fool better than I, so do leave it to the professionals. Now, Twilight, being who she is, of course read the book. The question then is, does Ghidra's hold with his father's teachings on this matter? And did Twilight overcome her equestrian upbringing to accept his view of things? Well, who am I kidding? Of course Ghidra's holds to his father's teachings, but Twilight...
has rejected him. By my sister's order, I have been watching Twilight. I hope she would see through this obvious ploy, but she has rejected Prince Ghidra's and shows no sign of coming to her senses.
Oh, how delightful. I can just see the mighty Prince of Terror weeping into his pillows, bemoaning the loss of true love. But you would know that I would have no sympathy for the lovelorn prince, and that making Twilight cry is in fact an exquisite pleasure I have indulged in myself. So, you think I would help because...
Think about it, Discord. What happens tonight at sundown?
Fluttershy goes for her magic lesson. But that's hardly, Oh. Oh no.
You are very intelligent, Discord, but you can be an idiot sometimes. Now, Discord, go do what you do best.
And what is that, precisely?
Meddle.
So, Twilight, you seem a little down. Anything I can do to help?
There's nothing more suspicious than you sympathizing with somebody else's feelings. What are you up to?
Oh, well, I heard you broke up with Ghidra after reading a certain book.
Heard that, did you? It doesn't concern you, Discord. Go back to Fluttershy. She might actually want your company.
Oh, how you wound me, Twilight. But I do sympathize. The Abyssal Code is very strict. Just think of it. To marry Ghidra, you would have to put all your princess duties on the back burner to raise your own children. How awful is that? Only peasants raise their own children. Am I right? Your parents showed how parenting should be done, didn't they? Yes, they were the very ideal of celestial thinking. Your mother was no slave to the household. No, ma'am. She was a very important pony, in charge of the Department of Bureaucratic Affairs, who've chosen by Celestia herself. But of course that meant that instead of being raised by a mother, you were raised by a series of nannies, and your brother was the only family you spent any real time with. And then of course, there was boarding school. But that's all good, right? That way your mother could have her own career, free of the loathsome burdens of motherhood. And that's far more important than a little filly's need to be with her mother. Am I right?
Discord, you really know how to cut me to the bone, don't you? I used to cry every morning when my parents would leave for work, because I knew I'd be in bed before they would come home again. When I discovered books, I lost myself in them, to escape the reality that my parents had better things to do than to spend time with me. But I thought you hated the teachings of Abyssus. And would you even want children?
Shows how little you know me, Twilight. I want a house full of children.
You do?
Of course, Twilight. I am the Prince of Chaos, after all. And can you think of anything more chaotic than a house full of children?
Oh.
You are right that I abandoned the Abyssal Code, Twilight. But I didn't do it because I believed it was ill-conceived. I rejected it because I simply could not be bothered with the burdens of responsibility or morality, and as much as the thought would delight me, I know that's not your motivation.
No, it's not.
And yet, you are not willing to give up your throne to raise your own children and be with the dragon you love? I gave up my own ambition to rule Equestria, to be with Fluttershy. The fact that you are unwilling to do the same would make me more selfless and noble than you. Wouldn't it? Oh, that does make me tingle inside.
Discord, you're twisting the blade in my gut right now.
Yes, but I'm not done with you yet, my little pony. There is the other part of the Abyssal Code we haven't discussed. The wedding vows themselves. Am I right?
I would have to swear to obey him.
Yes, you would have to obey him. I can understand why you find that intolerable. I, for one, cannot even imagine such a horrific existence as being at his beck and call. But you will have to explain to me how that differs from your relationship with Celestia all these years.
Well, it's...
Yes? I honestly can't wait to hear it. How does it differ?
I guess it really doesn't.
Then perhaps he is just a terrible person to have in charge of your life. Cruel like Fluttershy's father, or petty and self-indulgent like me, or maybe manipulative and self-serving like Celestia. You can tell me, Twilight. I would love to hear all about Ghidra's failings.
No, he isn't any of those things. He's kind and gentle and so wise. Oh no. What have I done?
What indeed, Twilight? But I suppose it really doesn't matter now anyway, it being Tuesday and all.
What does Tuesday have to do with anything?
Twilight, for being such a smart mare, you can be quite an idiot sometimes. Tuesday's the day Fluttershy goes for her magic lesson. You do remember what she swore she'd do if you ever cut Ghidraloose, don't you?
You don't think she'd actually do it?
Twilight, I hold no illusions. I know I am Fluttershy's second choice. She is such a kind and sympathetic soul, ever ready to comfort the suffering, and there he will be, heartbroken and vulnerable, her mentor, her beloved prince, and her savior. Twilight, Fluttershy wants nothing more out of life than to have someone to love and children to care for, and she's already taken vows of obedience to become his apprentice, so she has none of your objections. Therefore, I do not think she will go for Ghidrah. I know she will, and because you were a little idiot who fell for another of Celestia's obvious tricks, we will both be cast from paradise. I will go back to terrorizing Equestria, driven quite insane with jealousy, and you will go back to your old cold dark castle, and when all the jesters and flattering politicians have gone and your friends have moved on with their lives, you will be there alone in the dark, with the ghosts of what might have been. Just like Celestia. Assuming, of course, I don't manage to take your throne from you in the meantime.
No. No. I can fix this. There must be a way to fix this. There is always a way.
Oh, Twilight, you are ever the optimist. Well, you best be about it then. Time is against us now.
Masterfully done, Discord.
It is like you said. When it comes to meddling, I have no rival. And besides, vexing Celestia never does get old. However, it's too soon to celebrate. Just because Twilight changed her mind is no guarantee Ghidra will take her back. That dragon has some serious abandonment issues. But I suppose it's out of our appendages now. But what about you, Luna? Does this little rebellion mean we can expect the return of Nightmare Moon?
There has to be a third way, Discord. A path that neither requires me to be a slave to Celestia, or lost to the nightmare. I will find that path. I must.
Luna, you might not be able to accept this, but I really am cheering for you.
I think I actually believe that, Discord. And you should know that I'm cheering for you too.
Twilight?
Gee? I'm so sorry. I totally overreacted. Abyssus never said a mayor had to sit around the house baking cookies. He just wanted mayors to raise their own children.
It is deeper than that, Twilight. When a civilization's mayors start chasing glory and profit, instead of desiring children, that civilization takes the path to extinction. Without children, there is no future. Without mothers, there are no children. Motherhood, therefore, isn't just a matter of personal preference, Twilight. It is a sacred duty.
Gee, I get it. I really do. Once I put aside my own prejudice and looked at the things Abyssus was saying objectively, it started to make sense. But the real issue here isn't the fact that I disagreed with you. The issue is that I valued my own ambitions more than our relationship. But please hear me out and try to understand why. My mother and father, the ponies I believe were my mother and father, they are aristocrats who both have powerful seats in the government bureaucracy. They were never around when I was little. They both worked long hours, and I was usually asleep long before they got home from work. I was raised by nannies and then sent off to boarding school. Whenever I would cry and beg for my parents to spend time with me, and ultimately not to send me away, they would always say the same thing. They said they were doing all of this because they loved me. They said I would be a great mayor one day, that I would serve close to Celestia herself. They made me believe that climbing the ladder of success was more important for a mayor than anything else in this world. And I had to believe it, Guy, because if I didn't, then I had to face a terrible truth.
What truth, Twilight?
They had sacrificed me on the altar of their ambition. They had neglected me because they cared more about wealth and glory and power than they did about me. They had accepted me from Celestia in the first place because it furthered their ambition, and even after raising me as their own for years, they easily sent me away for the same reasons. Guy, this whole terrible episode has led me to the unthinkable conclusion that my parents' love is a lie. From the first day of my existence, I've been used by all those around me to further their own agendas. It's no wonder that I see so tightly to my friends, other than my brother. Their love was the only genuine affection I had felt in my whole life. Until I met you. Guy, even my brother and my friends had something to gain by associating with me. My brother became captain of the guard as a political favor to my parents for delivering me as promised, and my friends became the elements of harmony. But you have gained nothing but hardship and trouble by loving me, and yet you never once counted the cost. But the moment I was called upon to make a sacrifice for you, I ran. In the end, I'm just a foolish little filly who didn't know what she had until it was gone. But please, tell me there is still hope. Tell me I can set this right.
Twilight, my own past hangs heavy upon me this day. I have little experience with love, but all of it has been horrific. You are not my first love, Twilight. In the dark days before the war, I met a talented young mayor in my advanced magic classes. Our parents belonged to opposing factions, so we kept our love secret, hoping to find a way we could be together. But Celestia's murdered my father, and I had to leave the city. I begged her to come with us, Twilight. But even though she loved me, she was unwilling to leave her friends and family to be with me. She loved me, but the moment that loving me cost her something, she turned her back on me. I could not tell her the truth, Twilight, that I had to destroy the city. I knew she would be compelled to warn her family, and they in turn would warn Celestius, and the lives of all my people were at stake. So, I left without her. And even though I extinguished millions of lives that day, only one burned in my soul. I killed her, Twilight. The one I loved most in the world. I killed her to save my people, and after I saved them, they betrayed me and banished me. Twilight, there is nothing in your experience that would allow you to relate to the depth of that suffering. And when you threw my father's teachings in my face and forsook me, all that darkness came back to me like a flood. I am deeply wounded, Twilight. I may seem unbreakable to you, but that's only because I've been shattered into so many pieces. There is nothing left to break.
Xena warned me that loving you came at a price.
This entire civilization is built on celestial philosophy, which is at war with everything I know to be true. If I remain here, the ponies of Equestria will inevitably have to make a choice between my ways and Celestius. The very same choice you now face. If they reject me, then I may have to fight or flee this land, and my wife will have to fight or flee with me. Therefore, if there is anything here you would not give up to be by my side, be it glory, power, riches, relationships, or even your very life, then our relationship is doomed even before we can consider the possibility of children.
Is that all you want, Guy?
What do you mean?
If loving you cost me my life, I give it gladly. For I'm not really alive except when I'm with you. If your love cost me my throne, I give it gladly, because your love serves me better than 10,000 bureaucrats. If my friends come between us, I will forsake them, because any friend who would divide us is an enemy of my soul. If my own brother would keep me from you, I will be an only child, for you are closer to me than family. If the sun or moon come between us, I will pluck them from the sky, for the light of your eyes is the only thing that illuminates my path, and the shelter of your wings is the only darkness that gives me rest. Celestia taught me to seek power and depend on no stallion, but that is laughable folly, Guy, because I know power profits me nothing if I am not with you. Your father's teachings are still very strange to me, Guy. The ways of Abyssus are as different from our ways as the day is from the night. But I do understand that they are your ways. So, from this day forward, your ways are my ways, Guy. For I have no place in this world if it is not by your side. And yes, I will gladly raise our foals, should I be so blessed as to bear them. For I will never again let anything, no power or throne, no friend or foe, not even life or death, separate us. So, Guy, with the great trembling that comes from the terror of understanding, I do now beg you, will you spread your wings over me, and take me as your wife?
Yes, Twilight. 1,000 times yes.
Did it work? Masterfully, my sister. Twilight dumped Ghidra mere hours after reading the book. However... What? After some reflection, Twilight changed her mind. They are back together again. That is... unfortunate. Worse, they are engaged. Twilight proposed to him this very hour, and he accepted, prompting my return. Engaged? I feel as though a spear has been driven through my heart. If he marries Twilight, he will never leave Equestria. Never. Tia, why are you still fighting Ghidra? I thought you didn't want him dead anymore. I am no longer of the opinion that he is responsible for the death of mother and father. But I still oppose everything he believes in. I cannot stand idly by while he reverses 1,000 years of social progress with the foul teachings of Abyssus. No. Even if I had not known him before today, he would still be my enemy. Such a disaster. He has played me again. No matter what I do, he turns it against me. Every weapon I use against him he plucks from my hooves, sharpens it, and stabs it into my heart. Well, if it wasn't obvious before, it is now. I am no match for the Prince of Terror. It is time, my sister. The final gambit. Bring me that little pink abomination.